Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to discuss about simple LR parser. So previously, previous video we discussed about introduction about LR parsers. So we know what LR parser is all about. So L is left to right scanning and R is rightmost derivation in reverse. And there we observed the properties of LR parsers and also the structure of LR parser, right? So here we need to construct a predictive parsing, LR parsing table. There we have action and go to. We need to provide our input string, that is input token. Okay, how it is processed and all we'll discuss now. As I said that LR parser is of three types: SLR, CLR, LLR. So SLR stands for simple LR. So that's what our topic is today. So simple LR we call it as SLR. So if we given context free grammar, okay, so if we given context free grammar, our input is context free grammar, and first thing which we need to do is construction of canonical set of items. So we'll see what canonical set of items are and how to construct a canonical set of items. So once it is done, we need to construct SLR parsing table. Okay, so we need to construct SLR parsing table once we construct the canonical set of items. So related to that, so we need to parse our input string. So whatever input string we take, we need to parse our input string, and finally we need to show our output. So in the meanwhile, we need to take the input string to be parsed. So that input string is provided only after these two steps. That means the first one, the construction of canonical set of items to be done. The second one, construction of SLR parsing table to be done. So when these two steps are completed, we'll provide input string to that, and finally we'll get output, and we'll construct an how our input string is parsed. So that's what our agenda is. Okay, so once this is done, we can straight away go to our problem. So before going to our problem, first we need to construct LR of 0 items. So as I said that LR of k is a k is set of input symbols, right? So first we need to construct LR of 0 items. So for example, if our grammar is in this format, S tends to ABC. Okay, so in order to construct LR of 0 items, here we'll consider a dot and how that dot will change its position. So first S tends to, so dot will be at initial position dot ABC. S tends to, dot will move after A dot BC. Next dot will move after B, that is AB dot C. Dot will move to the last, that is ABC dot. And if I have S tends to epsilon, then we get only this production S tends to dot. That means my production S tends to ABC, I generated total 4. S tends to dot ABC, S tends to A dot BC, S tends to AB dot C, and S tends to ABC dot. If I have only one production, that is S tends to epsilon, so epsilon is nothing, as we know that, right? So what will you get? S tends to dot, that's it. Okay, so anyways, we'll see all these things by construction of LR of 0 items. So definition of LR of 0 items and its related terms. So first, before going to solve the actual problem, we need to know this LR of 0 items. What is augmented grammar, what are kernel items, so what are closure, what are go to operations, what is viable prefix and all. So there are some terms here. So once you know these terms, so that we can easily solve our problem. So first one, definition of LR of 0 items. As I said that if you take any grammar S tends to ABC, okay, so how that dot moves its position. So as I said that if I have S tends to ABC, so the first it will be S tends to dot ABC. Next dot will be moved after A, that is S tends to A dot BC. Next S tends to AB dot C. Next S tends to ABC dot. Okay, so end of the day your dot should come to the last, that is RHS of your production. Okay, so coming to if I have production S tends to epsilon, as I said that epsilon is nothing, right? So we'll get only one item, that is S tends to dot. That's it. Okay. So next is augmented grammar. Okay, so what is augmented grammar? If my grammar is G and that grammar has a starting symbol capital S. My grammar is capital G and I have a starting symbol capital S. If I have a new grammar that is G dash and I have a new starting symbol that is S dash. So the first my grammar is G and I have a starting symbol S, and if I generate a new grammar that is G dash and I have a new starting symbol that is S dash, then S dash tends to S is a new grammar. Okay, so this is called augmented grammar. So that means we'll have a new production S dash tends to S. Okay, so what is augmented grammar here? If a grammar G contains a starting symbol S, if we are generating a new grammar that is G dash having a new starting symbol that is S dash, then the newly generated S dash tends to the old starting symbol S, that is S dash tends to S is nothing but your augmented grammar. Okay, and third one, kernel items. So what is these kernel items? The augmented grammar which we generated, that is S dash tends to S, if we place a dot before S, then it is said to be kernel items, that is S dash tends to dot S. S dash tends to dot S is nothing but your kernel item. Okay. So there is non-kernel items. So non-kernel items is exactly reverse to kernel items. And now next thing is we need to discuss about closure and goto. Okay, so this closure and goto is most important. Now we're going to discuss about closure operations and goto operations. So first, what is closure operation? So consider I is a set of canonical items. So as I said, what are canonical items here? So the first thing is we need to use dot here and we need to use kernel items, right? So that's what I discussed. S dash tends to dot S. So those are all kernel items and we call it as canonical items. Is a set of if I is a set of canonical items and initially every item I is added to closure of I. So every item of I is added to closure of I. If there is a rule A tends to alpha dot B beta. If there is a rule A tends to alpha dot B beta is in closure of I. That means if we have A tends to alpha dot B beta and that is in closure of I, and there is another rule for B such that B tends to gamma, then closure of I equal to A tends to alpha dot B beta and B tends to dot gamma. Okay. So if you solve the problem, it will be it is easy to understand rather than saying. Okay. Now we'll see closure operation. So next is goto operation. So what is goto operation? If there is a production A tends to alpha dot B beta. So let us assume that we have a production A tends to alpha dot B beta. Then goto of A tends to alpha dot B beta comma B. So where are we specifying? We are specifying the dot to move towards B. So here we are specifying B. So what happens? The dot moves after B. So what we get? A tends to alpha B dot beta. Here we are specifying where the dot should get moved. Okay. So goto of A tends to alpha dot B beta comma B equal to A tends to alpha B dot beta. Simply shifting dot one position ahead over the grammar symbol. That's it. So this is what goto operation is. Okay. So now we'll see an example for this so that you'll get a clear cut idea about what is closure and what is goto. And remember, this closure and goto plays a major role for solving that problem. Okay. So let's take a small example for better understanding of closure and goto. So this is an example here. I have taken a grammar X tends to XB or A. Here capital X is a non-terminal, small b and small a are terminals. Okay. So first we need to find closure of I. Later on goto of I. Okay. Right. So first let us divide our grammar into two. So X tends to XB, X tends to XA. Okay. So I have divided my grammar into two. Now closure of I. So what I said, closure of I is nothing but placing dot before. Okay. So here my production is x tends to xb, right? So placing dot here, dot xb, and what is my other production? X tends to dot a. Okay. So this is closure. Now calculating go to of I. So see here carefully. So where is my dot here? My dot moves one position to the right. So after dot, remember, if we encounter with a terminal, okay, so we can leave that. If we encounter with a non-terminal, that's another case. So move one position to the right. So x tends to x dot b, and here x tends to a dot. So this is closure and this is go to. So in this way, we'll solve our problems using closure and go to. Okay. Now we can directly switch on to our actual problem of solving SLR. Okay. So a grammar will be given. Okay. So first we need to find out canonical set of items for that. Later we should apply closure and go to. And finally we need to construct an SLR parsing table. And later on we need to parse that input string. Okay, so let's see a problem by taking an example. Okay, this is my given grammar here. E tends to e plus t, e tends to t, t tends to t into f, t tends to f, f tends to e, f tends to id. So first, as I said, that we need to find out closure. Okay, so before finding closure, what I said, we need to find out the augmented grammar. So what is my starting symbol here? E, right? So now what I said, in grammar G, if my starting symbol is capital S, your augmented grammar will be generates a new grammar G dash with an augmented with a starting symbol S dash, and we have a rule S dash tends to S. And what is kernel item over there? Placing dot is our kernel item. So here my starting symbol is E, then I will generate E dash tends to E. E is my augmented grammar. So E dash tends to E is my augmented grammar. Okay. So now what are the remaining grammar here? E tends to E plus T, E tends to T, T tends to T into F, T tends to F, F tends to E, F tends to ID. So starting with augmented grammar. Now we need to find out closure of canonical set of item, that is closure of I naught, I. So closure of I, this can become I naught. Okay, I naught. What happens here? What I said, before every production or RHS, place a dot, then that becomes closure items. Okay, so let us term it as I naught. So here we have E dash tends to E. So before E, place a dot. So E dash tends to dot E. Second production, E tends to dot E plus T. E tends to dot E plus T. E tends to dot T. T tends to dot T into F. T tends to dot F. F tends to dot E. F tends to dot ID. Okay, so this is I naught. So this is closure of I. Here we calculated I naught. So next what happens? We need to find out go to. Go to first we need to find out on I naught. So go to of I naught comma, we need to check where that dot is. Okay. So first it is at E. So go to of I naught comma E. Next it is at T. Go to of I naught comma T. Like that. Next F. Next open parenthesis. Next ID. So once I naught is completed, then we will get I1, I2, I3 like that. Again we need to perform go to operation on I1, I2, I3. We will get some more things. Okay. So once we get all the items, then we can construct a DFA. Okay. If I naught is applied on E, where it is going. If I naught is applied on F, where it is going. So we can construct a DFA. So first we got I naught here. Now we'll construct go to. Okay, so closure is over. Now we need to construct go to. So this is I naught. So E dash tends to dot E tends to dot E plus T, E tends to dot T. Now first go to of I naught comma, the dot is at E. So go to of I naught comma E. Okay, so what productions do we have here? E dash tends to, now dot comes after E. So E dot. So that is what go to is, right? Next, here also we have dot E, right? So E tends to E dot plus T. The most important thing which we need to check here is after dot, if we have a terminal, we can stop there. If at all we have a non-terminal, then we should write all the non-terminal productions. So luckily here your dot reached the end of the position. Here after dot we have plus, as we know plus is a terminal, so we can stop here. So this is I1. Okay, so next is I2. So I2 is go to of I naught comma, now dot is at T. So I naught comma T. So what happens? E tends to T dot. So dot reached the end of the position, so we can stop here. And we have one more T, right? So T tends T dot star F. Okay. So after dot we have a terminal star. So here we can stop the procedure. Next I3. Go to of I naught comma F. So go to of I naught comma F. So what we get? T tends to F dot. So dot reached the end of the position, so we can stop here. And I4. Go to of I naught comma, after dot we have an open parenthesis. Okay. So open parenthesis. What happens here? We get F tends to open parenthesis dot E. Okay. So F tends to open parenthesis dot E. So if you observe closely, after dot we have a non-terminal. Okay. So what if we have a non-terminal after dot? We should write that non-terminal productions completely. Okay, so we have EA. So I4 go to of I naught comma open parenthesis. Okay, so what we get here? F tends to dot E. So as I said that after dot we have a non-terminal, right? So now I should write all the productions of E starting from here. So E tends to dot E plus T. So I should write everything. E tends to dot E plus T. E tends to dot T. T tends to dot T into F. T tends to dot F. F tends to dot E. F tends to dot ID. So this is I4. So next I5. Go to of I naught comma ID. So I5 is go to of I naught comma ID. So what we get? F tends to ID dot. Okay. So finally F tends to ID dot. So dot came at the end. So I naught is completed. That means go to of I naught is completed. So what we got here? We got I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5. Now we should perform go to for I1, go to for I2, go to for I3, go to for I4 and go to for I5. Okay. So my request is to please pause the video and please note it down so that I will erase this and I will write the remaining things. Now I6. So I6 is go to of I1 comma. Now if you see I1, here the dot is reached at the end. So leave it. Now the dot is at present plus. So now we need to perform go to for I1 comma plus. So what we get here? E tends to E plus dot T. E tends to E plus dot T. So after dot we have a non-terminal capital T. Now we should write all the productions of T. These four. T tends to dot T. These four we should write. So T tends to dot T into F. T tends to dot F. F tends to dot E. F tends to dot ID. So this is I6. Okay. So now I7. Now I7 is go to of I2 comma star. Why? Because here T dot dot already reached at the end, so leave it. And here we have after dot we have star. So go to of I2 comma star. So what we get? Here we get T star dot F. T tends to T star dot F. So after dot we have capital F. That means we should write these two productions. Why? Because we have a non-terminal over there. Okay. So F tends to so next I8 is, so we can't perform on I3. Why? Because after F we have dot. Now I8. So here we should apply for E. So go to of I4 comma E. So what we get? F tends to E dot right parenthesis, and here also we have E tends to E dot plus T. Okay. So after dot we have a terminal, so we can leave it, and here also after dot we have a plus symbol, that is terminal. Here we can leave it. So next is I9. Okay, I4 is over. No need to calculate on I5. Why? Because the dot already reached at the end. Now I6. So I6 I can apply on dot is before T, so I can apply on T. So I9 is go to of I6 comma T. Go to of I6 comma T. So what I will get? E tends to E plus T dot. So dot reached at the end, and T tends to T dot star F. Okay. So after dot we have a terminal. So I9 is over. Next I10. So go to of I7 comma F. So what do we get here? T tends to T star F dot. This is I10. Next I11. So go to of I8 comma right parenthesis. I8 comma right parenthesis. So what do we get? F tends to E right parenthesis dot. So as we know, E is our starting symbol and dot finally reached at the end. So can we apply go to on I9? So if you see closely I9, my dot already reached at the end, and after dot I have star. So no need to calculate I9. So if we take the I10, so dot already reached at the end, so no need to calculate for I10. So if you see I11, dot already reached at the end, so no need to calculate for I11. That means what I say, go to of I11 comma something. So finally we got I0, I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, I7, I8, I9, I10 and I11. So with this we can construct a deterministic finite automata. So how to construct a deterministic finite automata? So our starting state is I0, as we know, I0. So if we apply I0 on E, where are we going? We are going to I1. So just draw the DFA. If we apply I0 on T, we are going to I2. If we are applying I0 on F, we are going to I3. Like that, construct a DFA. Okay. So after constructing a DFA, we need to construct a LR parsing table. So this is the DFA for set of items I0 to I11. So we start with I0, that is our starting state I0. If we apply E on I0, we will go to I1. If we apply plus on I1, we will go to I6. If we apply T on I6, we will go to I9. If we apply star on I9, we will go to I7. So if F is applied on I6, we go to I3. If left branch is applied on I6, we go to I4. If ID is applied on I6, we go to I5. And if T is applied on I0, we will go to I2. And if star is applied on I2, we go to I7. If F is applied on I7, we go to I10. If open parenthesis is applied on I7, we go to I4. If ID is applied on I7, we go to I5. Like that, we will construct a deterministic finite automata. So in different universities, they may ask you question like this. They will give one grammar and they will ask you to construct a predictive parsing table. So if they ask you for 8 marks or something, so no need to construct a DFA for that. You can directly write the canonical set of items like closure and goto and find the parsing table and finally parse the string if needed. So if they ask you for 15 marks, it's a direct question. So without any choice, like A, B, bits like that, if they ask you for 15 marks, so you should write the whole thing, like constructing canonical set of items, finding closure and goto and finding DFA for that, and finding LR parsing table, and finally parsing the given input. Now we will see a construction of LR parsing table. So what are the rules we have to construct a LR parsing table? What are the steps we have to construct a LR parsing table so that we can solve the problem? So construction of SLR parsing table, here we have 4 rules here. First one, initially construct set of items, that is canonical set of items. So we already constructed, right? So what items we got from I0 to I11. So we see is a collection of set of LR of 0 items, the parsing actions. So here we need to find out action and go to, right? So our parsing table, as I said, that our parsing table contains of action and go to. The parsing actions are based on each item II. So each item II. So if A tends to alpha dot A beta is in II and go to of II comma A equal to Ij. That means if there is a production A tends to alpha dot A beta is in II and go to of II comma A equal to Ij, then set of action of I comma A equal to directly write S, that is shift J. For example, if it is 5, that is S5, that is S stands for shift, okay, and capital R stands for reduce, okay. So and remember here A must be terminal. And B rule, if rule A tends to alpha dot, so if there is a rule A tends to alpha dot is in II, then action of I comma A equal to reduce of A tends to alpha, where A belongs to follow of A. Next, if S dash tends to S is in II, then entry action of I comma dollar equal to accept. So shift, reduce and finally accept. And if we fill all the entries and if there are entries remaining will not satisfying rule 2 and rule 3, will be termed as error. So which we already saw in shift reduce parser, right? So we filled that entries with error. And so these are the steps for construction of SLR parsing table. Now we straight away jump into the problem. So in order to construct SLR parsing table, as we checked our rules, we have a follow, right? So we have one rule follow. So it's better to find out follow first. Later on we can apply our rules and we will construct the parsing table. So first we need to find out the follow of E dash, right? Because E dash is our starting symbol. So as E dash is a starting symbol, so while discussing in top down parsing, we discussed about first and follow, right? For the starting symbol we should add dollar. Okay, so if you have any doubt in that, you can go to my video that which we discussed about first and follow in top down parsing. So dollar will be placed. So follow of E dash equal to dollar. So next we need to find out for follow of E, and we have a production E dash tends to E. What does it mean? E dash tends to E means E dash equal to E. If E dash is dollar, obviously E becomes dollar. So E equal to dollar. Next we have E tends to E plus T. What is follow of E? What is followed after capital E? After capital E we are getting plus. So plus is added. Next F tends to, we have a production open parenthesis E closed parenthesis. After E we have closed parenthesis which is a terminal symbol. So add the right parenthesis also. So right parenthesis also added. So follow of E equal to dollar, plus right parenthesis dollar. Now calculate follow of T. So as we have a production E dash tends to E, we have a production E tends to T, which means that E dash equal to E and E tends to T means E equal to T. So E dash equal to dollar means T is dollar. So what we get? E dash equal to E equal to T equal to dollar. Next we have a production E tends to E plus T, and we have a production E tends to T. So in the place of E substitute T. So what do we get? E tends to T plus T. So after T we have plus, so add plus. Okay. So next we have T tends to T into F. In the after T we have star, so add star. Next we have F tends to E in brackets. So in the place of E I can substitute T. So after T I am getting right parenthesis, so add right parenthesis also. So finally follow of T equal to plus star right parenthesis and dollar. In the similar way we can construct follow of F also. So follow of F equal to plus star right parenthesis and dollar. So in this way we got follow, we calculated follow. Now we'll apply our rules and we'll construct a parsing table. Okay, so we wrote our follow of E dash E and all. So here first we start from I naught. So E dash tends to dot E tends to dot E plus T. So to start that rule, that is A tends to alpha dot A beta, our formula should be after dot we should have a terminal symbol. As I said, if you see the rule A, there we have written that small a should be a terminal symbol, right? So if you see here E dash tends to dot E, after dot we have a non-terminal, after dot non-terminal, after dot non-terminal, after dot T non-terminal, F non-terminal. If you see here F tends to dot open parenthesis, so this is a terminal. So we can consider this, and after this F tends to dot ID. ID is also a terminal, so that we can consider this. So first take F tends to dot open parenthesis E, this one. So what formula do we have? A tends to alpha dot A beta. Okay. So A equal to F, alpha equal to epsilon, small a equal to open parenthesis, beta equal to E closed parenthesis. Okay. Now what is the formula for us? Action of I comma A equal to Ij. Okay. So action of what is I? Here we are calculating for I naught. I naught comma what is A? A is open parenthesis. So I naught comma A equal to, where are we going? So if you see which we solved for I naught, I1, I2, I3 like that. So I naught comma open parenthesis goes to I4. Okay. So I4. So now we should write I naught comma open parenthesis equal to I4, and I4 is nothing but we need to shift. That is shift 4. Shift 4. So we will write S4. So in the place of I naught comma open parenthesis we will write S4. So I naught comma open parenthesis we will write S4. So S is nothing but shift. Okay. So this is over. Next F tends to dot ID. F tends to dot ID. So again A tends to alpha dot A beta. So A equal to F, alpha equal to epsilon, small a equal to ID, beta equal to epsilon. Okay. So action of I naught comma ID. So I naught comma ID we are going to I5. So we'll write S5. So S5. So in the place of I naught comma ID we will write S5. So here we calculated for I naught. Next we need to check for I1. Next we'll check for I1. So I1 productions I have E dash tends to E dot and E tends to E dot plus T. So after dot I have a terminal. So we need to check from I0 to I11 and we need to check only after dot whether we have a terminal or not. So we need to work on all the, we need to apply our rule only on the production which is having a terminal after dot. So here we have E tends to E dot plus T. So E tends to E dot plus T. So A tends to alpha dot A beta where A equal to plus. So I am straight away writing action of, so capital A is action of, here I am working for I1, right? So I1 comma plus. So where we go for I1 comma plus? So we already have a table, right? So if we go for I1 comma plus, where are we going? So if we go I1 comma plus, we are going to I6. So S6. So I1 comma plus, I should write S6. S6. And I1 is over. Next is I2. So in I2 we have T tends to T dot star F. So T tends to T dot star F. A tends to alpha dot A beta where A equal to star. Okay. So action of I2 comma star. So I2 comma star, where are we going? So I2 comma star we are going to I7. So that is S7, that is shift 7. So in the place of I2 comma star write S7. I2 comma star S7. Okay. So I2 is over. Next there is no production for I3. Why? Because dot reached the end. Next I4. Here I4 we have two production. F tends to dot open parenthesis E. F tends to dot ID. So in this way we need to do all these things. So I am writing for all the productions the shift. Later on we can write reduce. Here S stands for shift and R stands for reduce. Okay. So here we have for I4 and in I6 and I7 also we have the same thing. F tends to dot E, F tends to dot ID. Okay. So if we got I4, then we can write for I6 and I7 also. Okay. So first we calculate for I4. Okay. So in I4 we have F tends to dot open parenthesis E. So A tends to alpha dot A beta. So A equal to F alpha equal epsilon small a equal to open parenthesis. So action of here I am working for I4, right? So I4 comma open parenthesis. Okay, I4 comma open parenthesis. So where do we go for I4 comma open parenthesis? So we go to I4. So S4. So I4 comma open parenthesis, we should write S4. So next we have F tends to dot ID. So A tends to alpha dot A beta. So A equal to ID. So action of I4 comma ID. So we are going to S5. That is I5 we are going to S5. So I4 comma ID equal to S5. Okay. So if you observe for I6 and I7 also we have the same productions here. F tends to dot E and F tends to dot ID. So for I6 and I7 also we will get S5 and S4. So I am straight away writing for I6 and I7. So I6 S5 S4. For I7 also S5 S4. Okay. For I8 I have F tends to E dot right parenthesis E tends to E dot plus T. Okay. And I9 I have T tends to T dot star F. So if we calculate we will get like this. So this is a table by calculating S8, I8 and I9. So I got this S6, S11. For I9 I got S7. So shift is over. Now I need to fill it with reduce. Later on we can go for go to. Okay. Now we will see. We'll apply formula and we'll go to reduce. So for that I require follow. So that's the reason I already wrote here follow of E dash, E, T and F. Okay, for calculating reduce, we have A tends to alpha dot. If you see the rule, A tends to alpha dot, A belongs to follow of A. So our rule should be A tends to alpha dot. So that means dot should come to the last of the production. Okay, so we have such productions like in I2 we have E tends to T dot, in I3 we have T tends to F dot, in I5 we have F tends to ID dot, in I9 we have E tends to E plus T dot, in I10 we have T tends to T star F dot. Like that you dot reach to the end. Okay, so that productions we need to consider. So the first one, let us take I2. E tends to T dot. Substitute with A tends to alpha dot. So A equal to E, alpha equal to T. So we said that follow of A. So follow of A means E. So follow of A equal to E, so follow of E. So we already calculated E, right? So follow of E equal to plus right parenthesis dollar. So what we should write here? So we are saying that your S is shift. Now we should write with reduce. Okay. So here in the place of plus, that is I2 here. So this is I2, right? So in the place of 2 and in the place of plus right parenthesis dollar, what I should write? See, if you see the rule here, E tends to T. So in the problem, the given grammar, write it like this aside. So before constructing augmented grammar, so what I said, before constructing augmented grammar, we have a grammar, right? The initial grammar which is given in your question, that is E tends to E plus T tends to T. After that we have constructed like E dash tends to E and we applied dot for that. So we need to take the first grammar which is given to us. E tends to E plus T tends to T, like that. So write it like this. This is R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6. So the first grammar is R1, second one is R2, third one is R3, R4, R5, R6. So here we are doing for I2, that is E tends to T dot. So in the given grammar, where is E tends to T? It is in R2, right? So E tends to T is present in R2. So that means in the place of 2 and in the place of plus right parenthesis dollar, we should write R2. Okay? So in the place of 2 plus, that is R2. So in the place of right parenthesis R2. So in the place of dollar R2. Are you getting what I am saying? So here follow of here I got plus right parenthesis dollar, and we should check this rule E tends to T where it is. So here we have named it as the first one is R1, second one is R2, like that. Here it is R2. So write 2 in the place of plus right parenthesis dollar R2. Okay. So next is T tends to F dot. Next is T tends to F dot. So again substitute with A tends to alpha dot. So A equal to capital T. So follow of T. So what is follow of T? So follow of T equal to plus star right parenthesis dollar. Okay. So this is I3. So in the place of 3 and in the place of plus right star right parenthesis dollar. So if you see clearly, where is T tends to F dot? T tends to F is at R4. Okay. So I need to write R4 in the place of plus star right parenthesis and dollar. Is it clear? So here we need to check here. So don't write here we have I3, don't write R3. Okay. So don't get confused. The initial grammar which is given to us, write in this format R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6. Here while we apply follow of T, we get some terminals here. In the place of that terminal, here we are doing for I3, right? So 3, and in the place of plus right parenthesis, star right parenthesis dollar, apply R4. Why? Because T tends to F is in R4. So I3 in plus R4, in the place of star R4, in the place of right parenthesis R4, in the place of dollar R4. Okay. So next is I5. So I5 f tends to id dot. So a tends to alpha dot a equal to f, that is follow of f. So what is follow of f? Plus star right parenthesis dollar. So we need to check where is f tends to id. So f tends to id is at R6. So in the place of plus star right parenthesis dollar and I5 here. In the place of plus right parenthesis star and dollar, write R6. In the place of 5. So plus R6 star R6 R6 R6. Okay. So I5 is over. Next is I9. So what is I9 here? E tends to E plus T dot. So A tends to alpha dot. Here A equal to E, that is follow of E. So follow of E means plus right parenthesis dollar. Okay. So where is E tends to E plus T? E tends to E plus T is R1. Okay. So E tends to E plus T is present at R1. So in the place of plus right parenthesis dollar, we should write R1. And that is for I9. 9 in the place of plus R1, in the place of right parenthesis R1, in the place of dollar R1. Okay, so I9 is over, and next is I10. So what is I10 production? T tends to T star F dot, again A tends to alpha dot, so A equal to T, that is follow of T. So follow of T is plus star right parenthesis dollar. So where is T tends to T into F? It is R3. So in the place of I10, in the place of plus star right parenthesis dollar, write R3. So plus R3 star R3 right parenthesis R3 and dollar R3. So and finally we left with I11. Okay, I11. So I11 is F tends to E dot. So A tends to alpha dot. So A equal to F, that is follow of F. So follow of F is plus star right parenthesis dollar. So F tends to E. So F tends to E is R5. So in the place of 11 and in the place of plus star right parenthesis dollar, write R5. So plus R5 star R5 right parenthesis R5 and dollar R5. So reduce is also over. So next we need to calculate go to. So if you want to calculate go to, so first we need to check I0 on E. So go to of I0 comma E, we are going for I1. Go to of I0 comma T, we are going for I2. Go to of I0 comma F, we are going for I3. So simply write 1, I0 comma E, we are going for I1, so write 1. I0 comma T, we are going for I2, write 2. I0 comma F, we are going for I3, write 3. Like that, we need to check all these things where it is going and fill the go to table. Okay, so there is no I1, I2, I3 and I4 comma E, we are going to 8. I4 comma T, we are going to 2. I4 comma F, we are going to 3. Like that, I6 and I7. So action and go to is over. So we left with one thing, that is parsing of input. So when once we parse the input, then our LR parser is over. So this question will be asked in long answer question. You should write all these things. First grammar is given, you need to find out augmented grammar for that, all items, that is I0 to I11, like that. Later on we should find out follow, we should apply all these rules and we should apply the action and go to, and finally we need to construct parsing table. So sometimes they will not ask you to construct a parsing table. They will ask only to construct ask you to parse the input. They will ask only to construct a parsing table for 8 marks. So we can stop here. So if they ask you for 15 marks, you need to pass the input also. So this is our parsing our input. So this is my input ID plus ID plus ID dollar. Okay. So I will start with the stack, that is $0. Why? Because my starting state is I0, right? So 0. So 0 comma, the first one is ID, right? The first my input is ID. So 0 comma ID in action table. So you should keep your action table and go to table with you so that you can parse this. So 0 comma id equal to S5. That means the parsing action is S5, that is shift 5. So 0 comma id, I will write 5. So 5 is nothing but shift. Now after 5, after id is over, star. So 5 comma star. So if you see in the action table 5 comma star, it is nothing but R6, that is reduce 6, R6. And here 0, in the place of id I can substitute f. So 0 comma f. 0 comma f, the go to table is 3. So I will write in the place of id I will substitute f, and 0 comma f I got 3, so 3. Okay, so I left with star id plus id star. Now 3 comma star, so again I need to push star here, so 3 comma star equal to R4 in action table. Okay, so and 0 comma f, in the place of f I will substitute t. Why? Because I have t tends to f. So reduce with t tends to f. So 0 comma t, in go to table I go to 2. So I wrote 2 here. Okay, so I left with star id plus id dollar. Now I will push star. So next is 2 comma star, I got S7, shift 7. So 2 comma star S7. So I will write 7 here. Again 7 comma id, shift 7 comma id equal to S5. So I will write 5 here. So in this way I will check my action table and go to table, and finally I will reduce, and finally where I will stop, once I got accept here, I will stop my procedure. So in this way we will parse our string. So I hope you understand. So this is all about simple LR parser. So what we did here, we learned about different terminologies here like augmented grammar, kernel items. Okay, closure, go to, so how to find out canonical set of items. Okay, so after finding that, how to apply closure and go to, and once we applied we got I0 to I11, and how to find out follow for that, and how to construct a SLR parsing table. Okay, so after constructing parsing table and how to parse the given input string. So this is all about, this is the complete topic about simple LR parsing table along with parsing of the input. So I hope you understood the concept. So the students who are watching my channel for the first time, I request everyone to please subscribe my channel and please share my videos to your friends and well-wishers. Like please share all my videos in your friends WhatsApp groups who are studying in different other colleges, so that my videos will reach to your friends. And please support my channel in all possible ways. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.